Liu Bei's campaign to take over Yi province started in the year 211, but the conflict between him and Liu Zhang began in 213. Initially, after the Battle of Red Cliffs, Sun Quan wanted to take Yi together with Liu Bei, but he declined. Later, when Liu Zhang heard Cao Cao was invading Hanzhong, he became worried but without a plan. Shang Song pressed him. In the whole province, Pang Shi along with Li Yi and the other officials act in arrogant and haughty ways because of their past deeds. Soon, they will have more ambition than you can contain. If you don't obtain the support of General Liu Bei, then we'll be surrounded by enemies on the outside and traitors on the inside. Liu Zhang then sent Fa Zheng with 4,000 men to form an alliance with Liu Bei, much to Liu Bai's disapproval. Liu Bei is known as a hero. If you let him into Yi province, he'll surely bring you misfortune. You have to stop him. Many more of Liu Zhang's retainers protested against his decision, including Huan Chuan, and with Wang Li going as far to hang himself from the Guanghang city gate in protest. Liu Bei led his men into Yi in the year 211 alongside Fa Zheng and Zhang Song, who privately disapproved of Liu Zhang's governance, and under the pretense of wanting to protect his territories. Zhang Song even drew a map of Yi province and gave it to Liu Bei. When Liu Bei led more than 30,000 soldiers into Yi, it was as if he was returning home. He met Liu Zhang at Fu County, where he witnessed 30,000 Yi soldiers put on a theatrical display to offer him a warm welcome. It was the occasion of a great meeting, where they all feasted for more than 100 days. Zhang Song and Pang Tong wanted to capture Liu Zhang then and there to force him to surrender the province without having to fight, but Liu Bei refused. He wanted to win the hearts of the people first. Then before he departed to the north, Liu Zhang provided him with even more supplies and equipment. Liu Bei reprimanded him once more. If you send him against Zhang Lu, it will be like releasing a tiger into the mountains and forests. Liu Zhang wouldn't listen though, so Liu Bei claimed illness and refused to leave his house. When Yan Yan heard about it, he remarked, "This is the equivalent to sitting on an isolated hill and setting a tiger free to protect oneself." Liu Bei's army totaled more than 30,000 soldiers, all well equipped, along with many supplies. They headed to the border between Liu Zhang and Zhang Lu, but halted their advance at Jiameng Pass instead of fighting on the frontier. Liu Bei focused on building up connections in the area in preparation for his takeover, and since he was kind and virtuous, many among the masses soon joined him, such as Peng Yang. By the year 212, Sun Quan and Guan Yu were under pressure from Cao Cao, so Liu Bei told Liu Zhang that he needed even more troops. He asked for 10,000 men and additional provisions to help defend Jing, but Liu Zhang only gave him 40% of the men and half of the rest. When Zhang Song heard there were discussions about Liu Bei leaving to defend Jing, he pressed him to remain. His brother, Zhang Su, eventually found out about their secret communications and feared repercussions if he didn't report it. Liu Zhang was furious and stunned about the secret planning, so had Zhang Song executed, then told his soldiers guarding the passes to keep secret his knowledge of Liu Bei's true intentions. Yang Huai and Gao Pei, who guarded Bai Shui Pass, were never informed about Liu Bei's secret plan. It wasn't long until secret informants told Liu Bei what had happened to Zhang Song, where he exclaimed, "Zhun Jiao killed my spy." Fa Zheng and Meng Da, who were already with his army, chose to openly join him, so Liu Bei now had no choice but to conquer Yi, where Pang Tong laid out 3 plans for him to choose from. The upper plan was to select the best soldiers to form an elite force and advance swiftly to seize Chengdu. Pang Tong considered this the best plan. The middle plan was to take command of the Guangzhou armies in the north, then move to capture Chengdu. The lower plan was to return to Baidi Cheng and see how things develop. Liu Bei chose the second option and appointed Pang Tong, Fa Zheng and Ma Su as his military advisors. Wei Yan, who had just begun serving under him, became a bodyguard within his personal staff, while Pang Tong spread rumours that they were leaving for Jing province. This trick lured Yang Huai and Gao Pei out of the mountains with only a light cavalry force to see Liu Bei off. They fell into a trap and were executed for behaving disrespectfully towards Liu Bei, which brought the war out into the open. Liu Bei took the pass's garrison into his army and proceeded on to attack Fu County. Huang Zhong and Zhuo Ying led Liu Bei's soldiers during the campaign, with Huang Zhong displaying great martial skill, always being the first to break the enemy's formations. Zheng Du remarked that Liu Bei's isolated army was low on supplies and composed of new recruits, so in reality their strength was only that of 10,000 men. He advised Liu Zhang to use the scorched earth policy by relocating the people of Bashi and Zitong while burning down the supply depots. Liu Bei felt deeply concerned when he heard about this plan, but Fa Zheng assured him that Liu Zhang would never follow it. Indeed, he told his subordinates, "I've heard of fighting the enemy to save the people, not of disrupting the people to avoid the enemy." Furthermore, he removed Zhengdu from office. When Liu Bei entered the different passes, he took the commanders hostages along with their wives and children. He then absorbed their troops into his army and marched on to Fu County, following Huayang and Huayang, who occupied the city. Once inside, Liu Bei held a banquet to celebrate conquering all of the passes, and this is where he had a slight disagreement with Pang Tong. Enemy forces soon arrived at Fu County to oppose them, with Liu Gui, Leng Bao, Zhang Ren, Deng Xian and Wu Yi all being defeated and forced back to the prefect of Mianzhu, Fei Shi. Fearing they would lose the war, many officers came from Liu Zhang to join Liu Bei. The officer Liu Zhang trusted most was Wu Yi, and even he changed allegiance. Li Yan and Fei Guan were also sent to reinforce Mianzhu, but they also surrendered over. With each passing day, the province's lands became weaker, whilst Liu Bei's army grew stronger, so he dispatched various commanders to pacify the most suitable commanderies. Li Hui knew that Liu Zhang would lose eventually, so he pretended to be a messenger in order to head north, where he joined Liu Bei as well. Eventually, after losing enough morale, Fei Shi led his defenders out from Mianzhu to surrender, whereafter Liu Bei moved in. He left Ma Su in charge of the city, then led his army deeper into Yi. Around this time, Huo Jun was sent to defend Jiameng Pass, Hanzhong's southern entrance, so Yang Bo was sent to deceive him into opening the gate, but he saw through the ruse and stayed firm. When Fu Jin, Xiang Sun and some others led an army of over 10,000 men to attack his position, he mounted a stalwart defence. Even though he only commanded a few hundred men, he resisted their assault for around a year. Liu Zhang's troops were not very well disciplined, so Huo Jun picked his best warriors to lead a sortie and inflicted massive damage onto their army, even beheading Xiang Sun during battle. Liu Shun took command of the remnants of the armies and retreated to Luo County, where they joined up with Zhang Ren and barricaded the entrance to the castle. Liu Bei's army completely surrounded it, while Fa Zheng wrote to Liu Zhang asking for surrender. After he ignored their request, Pang Tong led a major assault against Luo Castle, but the defending archers fought back, which is where he was killed by a stray arrow. Zhang Ren tried to break the siege by leading his men down onto the Wild Goose Bridge and charging his enemy, and he too was defeated, but captured. His bravery and loyalty was well known, so Liu Bei tried to recruit him, but he sternly replied, "A loyal subject will never serve two masters." The siege went on to become a prolonged one that lasted around a year. During this time, Liu Bei's army grew in disarray, since they were stuck in hostile territory, thus many of them deserted. Liu Bei was forced to call for reinforcements from Zhang Fei, Xiaoyun and Zhuge in Jing province. They sailed up the Yangtze River and conquered the commanderies and counties in the surrounding areas. Zhuge ordered Xiaoyun to lead a separate force to attack Xiangyan commandery, while Zhongye followed Zhang Fei. He led his troops to attack Xiaozan at Xiangzhou in Ba Commandery, where he was also able to receive Gonglu's surrender. He went on to assist Zhang Fei in taking control of the commandery, which resulted in the capture of Yanyan. Facing execution, he impressed Zhang Fei with his bravery, so he was pardoned and released. Zhang continued to follow the Dian River, where he broke through a thin line of defence in order to rendezvous with Liu Bei. Liu Feng followed Zhang Fei's unit, and even though he was only slightly older than 20, he impressed many with his martial skills and extraordinary strength. All of the armies gradually gathered, then Luo Castle finally fell after 1 year of siege. Zhang Fei marched on, where he defeated another army led by Zhang Yi, thereafter clearing open a path to Chengdu. The morale of the armies of Yi was at an all-time low, with only a few generals bravely fighting on. When Liu Bei's forces attacked Zitong County, Wang Lian ordered his troops behind the city walls and closed the gates, refusing to surrender. Liu Bei admired his loyalty, so eventually called off the attack. Huang Chuan stood firm at Guanhan after he had prepared the city for a siege. He held his position firmly, but its administrator Zhu Shuxian tried to escape to surrender. When Liu Zhang found out about it, he ordered his execution and then went on to force his widow to marry a soldier, but she took her own life instead. Her actions touched the whole army, thus she was recorded as a martyr. Another administrator called Shou also wanted to surrender, but his plan was leaked. He was brought before Liu Zhang, who felt that they were already at the brink of destruction, so he didn't punish him. Liu Ba had remained sick in his house all this time, and Liu Zhang announced that anyone who would dare to harm him would suffer execution to 3 degrees. Liu Bei surrounded Chengdu with the other armies, then when he heard that Ma Chao was on the way, he exclaimed, "Yi province is mine." Ma Chao arrived at Mianzhu, where Li Hui provided him with soldiers and supplies to besiege Chengdu. Upon seeing his arrival to the north of the city, the civilians became terrified. Liu Zhang sent Zhang Yi as his envoy to negotiate the terms of surrender, where Liu Bei promised he would treat them all well if they did. After a siege that lasted several weeks, and within 10 days of Ma Chao's arrival, Liu Bei had decided to send his longtime advisor Jianyong in to speak to Liu Zhang. At this time, Chengdu still possessed 30,000 soldiers along with enough supplies for a year. Many officials and people wanted to fight to the death, but Liu Zhang rejected their pleas, saying, "I don't want my subjects to suffer anymore." Having met before, he was already fond of Jianyong, which helped secure the official surrender from Chengdu, thus opening the city gates. With Jianyong by his side, Liu Zhang rode out of the city in a chariot to surrender. Huang Chuan only submitted after he heard that Liu Zhang had already given up. Then everyone inside the city wept for Liu Zhang's sacrifice, as Liu Bei succeeded him as the governor of Yi.